Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, August 8th, 2025. I am Dave Biddle. I'll be joined by Jonah Booker in just a moment. We are 22 days away from the season opener. It feels good. And you guys are still basking, but it's nice to know that and it's not just the season opener. It's a huge game. It's like, it's just crazy. Can't wait for the Ohio State-Texas showdown. Wish it was not at noon. But it is, and it sounds like the Penn State's game is going to be at noon too, which is the least surprising thing in the world, in my opinion. I would have been shocked if it wasn't at noon. And I love when Fox says, well, the ratings are good. Well, of course the ratings are good. That's a straw man. The ratings would be better if they were at night. Whatever they are at noon, they would definitely be better if it was prime time. Plus, it's going to be like 98 degrees and probably humid here the last day of August, but I digress. J-Book would definitely take 98 degrees right now. He was just telling me, like, the weather in Scottsdale right now is just completely – you can't even get in the pool, he was saying right now, because the pool is too hot. So, but I tell you what, I bet J-Book's rocking some Viore, knowing him, knowing how stylish he is, how he likes to work out. Viore is stylish activewear that is designed to look great beyond the gym. Whether you're running errands, heading to the office, meeting up with friends, whatever the case might be, Viore is awesome. The gear is great for playing tennis or pickleball or just lounging around the house watching really good athletes play sports like our Buckeyes on TV. Again, we're talking about style and comfort. That's a great combination right there. As for the comfort part of the equation, these are the softest joggers on the planet. They're lightweight. They come with stretch fitting. And again, they are highly stylish. All the good stuff, definitely not your average jogger. All right, here we go. Viore is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at viore.com/bucknuts. That's VUORI.com/bucknuts. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but you will enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to viore.com/bucknuts and discover the versatility of Viore clothing. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. All right, let's bring my friend, the one and only Jonah Booker in here. Jay Book, great to see you on a Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just curious, so we're going to meet. We're going to get to this in a minute. We're going to meet with Larry Johnson and the defensive lineman today after practice around 11:30, 11:45. So I'm really curious what the LJ says about some of these backup D tackles, who's making a move, and just overall what he's going to say about this D line replacing all four starters. But I want to ask you, just your through the first week of camp, what's kind of caught your attention the most?
I will say probably the linebackers so far, and then I have a second one, but the linebackers, how James Laurinaitis also included Peyton Pierce as what he considered a starter along with Sonny and Arvell. It's hilarious because every time you get someone from outside of their usual beat who's always at practice, when you get someone from like the Big Ten and they see Arvell and Sonny, they're like, holy moly, those are some freaky linebackers. The other thing that has really caught my attention that surprised me was the offensive line shakeup. I mean, we going into fall camp, it was always thought that Austin Saravell was going to be your right tackle and Ethan Anani. How you say it?
Onwa.
Onwa.
Onwa. Yeah.
He was going to be your left tackle, but it looks like they've switched, and Ethan is also getting some reps at the guard position. So I think that was kind of a wrinkle in it, but that just tells you how well Austin Saravell is performing right now. When Brian Hartline spoke to you guys last week, he was asked about Austin, and one thing that he said was, this kid does everything right. He is an extremely hard worker. He's very he was just gushing about him like he was one of the wide receivers, like very impressive. Is always in the right spot, gives max effort. I think he was like one of the Iron Buckeyes as well. So it looks like he's going to get his first crack at left tackle. And I didn't think it was going to play out that way, but that just means that the offensive line is deep. I'm extremely bullish on them. I think they're going to have a great season. Jake Butt, who was with the Big Ten Network, was at practice, had a pretty big write-up on what he saw yesterday. And then he was also on the Big Ten Network. He said the offensive line looks like a bunch of NFL caliber guys. However, and this is a great point, and you guys get to talk to him today, he said the defensive line was stout yesterday and more than held their own. And that's without Edric Houston right there in the mix.
I'm going to go back to the offensive line for a minute. I wasn't sure what to make of that. It was a little surprising. I thought they would just leave Ethan at left tackle and Austin at right tackle, like you said. But I'm not sure if they're just trying to cover their bases because of what happened last year, making sure that Austin can play. We know he can play guard. He can play right tackle and left tackle, making sure Ethan can play both spots and guard. Or if they think Ethan, and they're just trying to cover their bases, they think Ethan's going to be left tackle and Austin's right tackle. Or maybe Ethan isn't living up to what they thought he would be. I don't know what to make of it. I think it's probably the former. I think Ethan's probably still going to be the left tackle. Austin's going to be the right. They just want to make sure guys are learning multiple positions, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, I think right now in camp is actually pretty smart to do what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because somebody, knock on wood, somebody's going to get nicked up. It's football. It happens. And if you need to be able to shuffle the offensive line, you need to be able to have guys who can get in there and still perform at a high level. It's not like, oh my goodness, this is shock and awe. I've never played here. So them being able to mix and match right now, and I think that's incredibly smart. I will say this, Dave. The other thing that really surprised me, and it kind of I don't know, contradicts itself. Ryan Day said he wants to have the quarterback battle settled or potentially announced next week, right? However, everybody who, towards the end of next week, which theoretically will put you on track, kind of what we talked about, to say, hey, as you get ready to head into that last and final scrimmage, you probably want to have your quarterback decided so that as you get ready to transition into game prep for Texas, whoever you decide will then have all of the first team reps to get ready. But let me back up just a little bit. Everybody who has been at camp, including outsiders, have said this is a much closer battle than what everybody is anticipating. You and I truly believe Julian Sayin is going to be the guy, but Lincoln Kienholz is competing at a high level, which is a great thing. So I'm kind of surprised that he's saying next week he's going to pull the trigger if you're to believe that guys are competing neck and neck. But I think it's going to be saying I'm happy that he has kind of put it out there like, hey, we're going to get this decided sooner rather than later.
My dogs are fired up just thinking about the battle.
Hey.
Here's where I come down, though. I get it. And Lincoln does look good. I think he's been very consistent. And this dude is just a great athlete. And he's now focusing on football, just football, for 3 years straight now for the first time in his life. I think he can get the job done. I've said that all along. But what did Jeremiah Smith say when asked about the quarterback position? When he was kind of maybe didn't think it'd be that big of a deal. He was down in Miami. A reporter asked him. He just gushed about Julian. Said Julian's definitely the guy. What did the guys say at the combine? All the guys. They all said Julian's the guy. I mean, this isn't my first rodeo. I'll be beyond shocked if Julian's not the guy.
Right. But and then let's also take into account with Jake Butt. On a side note, he's a star. Can Jake Butt go over there and replace Desmond Howard? Because he really knows his stuff, man. Yeah. And the guy just kind of talks ball and keeps it centered. He said when watching the quarterbacks yesterday, no matter who is named a starter, this offense is going to be really good. He thought Julian was more efficient as the pocket passer. Lincoln is much bigger, more explosive, did a lot of things in the zone read game. And he, kind of threw it out there. Is there a situation to where, because their styles complement each other, that you can see some packages for Lincoln? And I was on Chimdi Chekwa and Brian Browning's podcast earlier this week. So if you guys haven't checked that out, give it a listen. We had a blast. But that was one thing that Chimdi Chekwa had talked about, Dave. He said, could we have a situation to where Julian's named the starter, and because Lincoln gives you a different element, could we see some packages with Lincoln in there? And I was like, we saw it with Devin Brown and Kyle McCord.
Right.
And everybody has kind of mixed feelings on how that went about. So I'm like, ooh, I don't know. What do you think about that? How would you
Ryan
feel?
Day was asked about that.
Yeah.
He said, no, we don't want to have a situation where we have a guy coming in as has a certain package. We want to have one guy. Now, if he was planning on doing that, throwing Texas off the scent wouldn't be a bad idea, right? If he was planning on having Lincoln have come in there and have some packages just for Lincoln, he might not want to announce that. So it's possible. But Coach Day himself said no, he just wants to have one guy. He doesn't want to have, like, bring in, for example, he didn't say this. He didn't use this example, but he doesn't want to have, like, Lincoln come in to be the short yardage quarterback or whatever. He wants to stay away from that. But who knows, man? Who knows? Well, maybe he's playing some poker here. It's going to take care of itself. Ryan Day, I'll never worry about quarterbacks with Ryan Day. I know Kyle McCord that year wasn't great, but, like, still, I mean, would they go like 11-2 that year? So not too bad. I'm never going to worry about quarterback. Julian Sand was handpicked by Nick Saban and Ryan Day. They both wanted him. He barely picked Alabama, and then boom, as soon as Saban retired after a week, he transferred to Ohio State. I think he's going to be great. And if Lincoln is the guy, then I believe in him too. So, all right.
Hold on real quick. Speaking of Devin Brown, sounds like he's doing pretty good out there at Cal.
Good.
And I was reading an article. The Cal head coach was gushing about how smart Devin is and how he's actually added to their offense by bringing some of the elements that Ohio State runs that they had absolutely zero clue how to do it. But Devin actually implemented some of the things that he liked in Ohio State offense into the Cal offense, and basically said he coaches some of the coaches sometimes. And he's that knowledgeable. So I hope Devin has a great season for them.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for the Cal Bears this year for sure. 4th-year junior Devin Brown. I love that he still has 2 years left for Cal. So Indiana poached Cal's quarterback, Mendoza, who I think, as good as Curtis Rourke was, I think he was a really good quarterback for Indiana last year, who transferred from Ohio University, of course. I think Mendoza is going to be an upgrade of what Rourke was last year. And Rourke was good, but I think Mendoza is going to be an upgrade. And I'm glad you mentioned that about Devin Brown, because I had not heard that. I figured he would do well at Cal, J Book, but it's good to know that he's doing well. He's probably doing so well he needs some Goodr sunglasses. They're stylish sunglasses, easy for me to say, starting at just $25 a pair. You get a 1-year warranty and you get 30-day free returns. As I always say, you're not going to need those things, but it's nice they're there. Lightweight and comfortable. They're 100% polarized. There's no slip, no bounce. I wear them to play tennis, and they don't move at all, which is great and rare. Maybe I need to play you might think, oh, you're not running real hard out there. No, my daughter runs me all over the court, so I'm running hard, and they don't move at all. You can get vibrant colors, sleek styles. There's a pair of Goodrs for every personality, designed for both everyday wear and active individuals that love to run, hike, bike, play tennis, and more. If you need a new pair of sunglasses, Goodr is giving Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners free shipping. You can go to goodr.com/Bucknuts, use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Goodr offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Again, that's goodr.com/Bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for free shipping. All right.
Hey, man, be careful out there on the tennis court. Don't let your daughter whoop up on you so much, man, that you come back in here with a torn ligament or messed up shoulder or something. Be careful out there.
A little ruptured Achilles or something like that. It's very, very possible. It's very possible.
She's going to try to get the best of dad, man.
Oh, I know. Maybe she'll get there one day. It's tough when I'm playing my daughters in tennis. It's tough because, like, I want to challenge them, but I don't want to, like, go too hard. You know what I mean? So
pretty soon, Dave. Because here's the thing: your one daughter's going to OU, and you have your younger daughter still in high school. As they get older, they're gonna challenge you, Dave, and they're gonna put the beats on you, man.
It's coming. It's coming. I know. I keep getting older. They keep getting better. So
I know
it's coming, man.
Good.
It's coming.
That's good though. They'll always remember that dad was out there, giving them a run for their money in tennis. They'll always remember that.
That's right. And sometimes they think they're better than me because I might let up a little bit. That's okay. Confidence is good, right? make it hard on them, but you want to keep the confidence up while still making it difficult on them. So I don't really go full bore, but don't tell them that. They think I go full bore. All right. So I mentioned the Penn State game being at noon. That's like the least surprising thing in the world. I don't even think that's a story. I just assumed it would be. Didn't we already assume that was going to be like a noon game? So not surprised. The Texas game is the one that bothers me. That's a story. We've already covered that. All right. I want to ask you about this, man. So we got a chance to speak with Ross Bjork, and a lot of new, cool, interesting ideas. I'm on board with most of them, maybe not all of them. Some people are upset about this and that. Some people love them across the board. I'm not a big fan of the song, the Ohio song. I just can't see that catching on. They want it to be like our version of Country Roads or Rocky Top. You can't force that stuff. That stuff just has to happen like organically. You can't just like come up with a song that's going to be our version of Rocky Top. No, I don't think that's going to catch on. Hang on Sloopy end of the third quarter. I think you can do both. I think you can still keep Hang on Sloopy at the end of the third quarter. And also play it one other time during the game. J-Buck, I'm not aware of a rule where you can't play Hang on Sloopy twice, right? So whether it's the second quarter or fourth quarter, there's a big moment. Either a big moment just happened and they go to a TV timeout, play it then. I get what they're saying, but you don't need to just do it once. Do it twice. The victory bell, I go back and forth on this. I feel like it's kind of weird that we're going to ring the victory bell before the game, but I see what they're doing. I like the idea of having like a ceremony with Archie and all that. I like what they're doing with the band and the Blocko. Your thoughts on everything they're doing?
I think I respect Ross Bjork for putting in effort to try to change the environment.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, I had tweeted out a clip of Texas A&M entering the field against Texas, primetime game. I mean, the production from ESPN, you probably had 12 to 15 different camera angles. And in the crowd, you would notice 90,000 fans waving towels. That's something that they're going to be bringing to the shoot. And when you watch that atmosphere, the back of my mind, I was thinking, Ross Bjork helped build this. I mean, Texas A&M has kind of always throughout college football history has been known to, be a loud, hostile environment. But when you look at it now, it's very modern. And the atmosphere was just absolutely electric. So he's coming from a background to where he's saying, hey, I have experience building this, kind of modernizing an historical program with rich traditions and creating a hostile environment. So he's trying. I give him credit for that. I don't know how much is going to catch on. However, a lot of this is contingent on playing your top 10 matchups at noon with Fox, Dave. Now, don't get me wrong. I truly believe that these matchups, they're going to be hostile because whenever you bring in an opponent like Texas, top 10 Penn State into the shoe, the crowd's going to be crazy. However, a lot of the things that they have in the back pocket when it comes to the light shows and the drone shows and all of that stuff that the athletic department also have, that's pretty much just sitting idle. I mean, they're going to bust it out against the Bobcats. Like, I mean, you got to do it against my Bobcat? Like, damn, man.
It's time for Rufus to get his comment. It's time for Brutus to just take out Rufus. We got to get a little payback on that one. We got a little bit of a payback there.
Yeah, but I like it, man. I'm all for trying to bring something that's going to help liven up the shoot, because what did we hear last year, Dave? So many people complaining about the shoe is dead. The shoe is dead. Ohio State even took a large contingent of people that works in the athletic department out to Oregon when the Buckeyes played out there in Eugene to experience, some of their traditions and how loud their stadium was and how hostile and how crazy it was from the time that kickoff to the very end. You didn't have no, hey, down in front crowd in Eugene that you tend to have at Ohio State when the younger demographic is trying to stand the whole game and get rowdy. So a lot of people complain that Ohio State has kind of transitioned to a large section of the stadium. A wine and cheese crowd is, happy to be there. hey, down in front, sit down. We're trying to watch the game instead of getting up on your feet. So if Ross is trying to, kind of kill that narrative, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So we'll see. I think a good idea would be to put Anthony Schlegel or Andy Katzenmoor, fill in the blank, in the Brutus outfit, in the Brutus costume, right? And have a backup Brutus ready to go. But just have Schlegel in there. They wouldn't know it's Schlegel, obviously. Go down and just take out Rufus, because I love Ohio University, but I'm still mad at Rufus for trying to beat up Brutus. So I'm kind of joking around there, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
But you're right, Dave. I mean, we talked about it. We knew the Penn State game was going to be at noon. Hell would freeze over before Fox allows Ohio State to have any other time slot for a primetime game. The part that really irks me is, and Ross said it says, oh yeah, they love Ohio State. We carry the ratings. Like, we're carrying Fox entire ratings package in a year, considering Fox has two conferences. I mean, they have the full rights to the Big 12 as well. So I'm looking at this like Ohio State is essentially carrying the load for Fox for two conferences, 36 teams, yet Ohio State's being paid the same amount of money as Purdue, as Northwestern. And then here's another one for you, Dave. I was listening to Bo Bishop yesterday, 97.1 out of Columbus, and Bo has said yesterday that there are people at Ohio State who didn't read the fine print of that deal that they signed, because essentially it's a bad deal for Ohio State, because they didn't think Fox was going to be as relentless as they are when it comes to forcing Ohio State to carry the load for the same amount of money. But it sounds like some people who signed that contract in the previous regime didn't actually read all the fine print.
We love D. Sanchez, Mrs. Sanchez, mother of Devin Sanchez, and we're going to get to true freshmen who are going to play a big role in just a moment. He might be mentioned. By the way, he definitely will be mentioned when we do that. But I will push back on this a little bit, D. She says, I appreciate the tradition at Ohio State, but you guys do not like change. Certain things we don't want change, like don't touch Script Ohio, and they're not. You don't want to mess with perfection, and they're not touching Script Ohio. But there are certain things that you just don't touch. But I'm good with change. I'm good with change. I like most of the stuff that they're doing. But yeah, I mean, there's a fine line. What's your take on that? Do you think Ohio State fans are? I think people in general sometimes just don't like change. But I don't know if Ohio State fans are too against change. Gene Smith really didn't do anything to increase the fan experience during his entire tenure at Ohio State. He just kind of had it on cruise control. So as you mentioned, I give Ross Bjork some credit for thinking outside the box and trying to juice it up a little bit.
I agree that to an extent, Ohio State fans do not like change. Like you hear a large segment of the people who get upset whenever they wear alternative uniforms for one game out of the entire season. I love the times that when Nike every year back in the days, Dave, was always making an alternative uniform. There were a large segment of people who loved it, quite a bit of people who didn't like it. I really like the towels, 100,000 fans waving towels.
Yeah.
Visually, that looks really cool on TV. And here's the thing. Maybe that is something that will force a lot more people to get up on their feet. I mean, it's just kind of the nature, like, hey, third down, wave the towels. Let's get up on our feet. So I do think that you have to be able to kind of weave a place that is rich in tradition with modernizing it. When you watch that Tennessee game, Dave, the atmosphere when it comes to the laser shows, I didn't even know they had all of that stuff. The drone shows,
yes.
The lights all around the stadium where you're dimming them and you're bringing the lights out to red and all of that stuff. Like, that's all new stuff that has been incorporated into the environment. Now, the one thing that they do need to probably get their arms around, Dave, is all of the ad reads in the middle of the game. I know Ohio State is, carrying, 50 sports. I'm speaking tongue in cheek. And so they're trying to get as much revenue as possible. I don't know how you get around not killing the environment because you have so many darn ad reads in the middle of the game. Like let the band play, get some, get a DJ who's playing modern music, not music from 22 years ago that you're still trying to get people fired up about. But I think Ross is trying, man. Like I'm saying, hey, let's see how it plays out, because here's the thing. The Texas game is going to be crazy, Dave. It's going to be a hostile environment. We've never seen a number 1 and number 2 clash open up the season before. Like, this is going to be historical. The question is, will the Ohio State fans show up at the ESPN set to see Lee Corso one last time on his way out, or will they venture over there to the Fox set to be trolled by Dave Portnoy?
Right. I mean, this is one time where it's like, well, I don't want to go over there because of Desmond. Oh, you don't want to go over to the Fox area? I mean, at least they have Urban to keep him in check. But yeah, Portnoy over there. And yeah, I think you should go to the game day set and boo Desmond and cheer Lee Corso. I love that he's doing it, because I was at that Penn State game in '96. I was a student at Ohio State, and when they did it for the first time, and it's cool that now he's doing it for the last time also at Ohio State. So
yeah,
I mean, Herbstreit's kids were like babies then,
right? And now they're all grown. And see, the other thing that irks me about Fox too, they're like, hey, we know Ohio State is our breadwinner. They're going to carry the load for us. By the way, Ohio State, we know that you guys hate Big Noon, so we're going to also shove Dave Portnoy on you to come to Columbus for every big game so that he can troll you guys.
And yes, Tom in Myrtle Beach, I think Lee Corso will put the Brutus head on. It's incredible, the record that he's picked. He's picked Ohio State more than anybody else. He's done more Ohio State games, and the winning percentage is very good. Hey, we were there. See, this is why we probably ran into each other, Doreen, at that game and other games, 94, 95, 96. We probably ran into each other. Yeah. So, all right, freshmen that are going to play. I'm gonna read through. I think really only 2 are going to play big roles. I'll get to that. One being the aforementioned Devin Sanchez. Got his black stripe removed. They could have removed it in the spring, but whatever. He got it removed. That was cool. I like that tradition. It's a relatively new tradition, but I like it. All right, let's start with, these are just guys I think that are going to definitely play, won't redshirt. Bo Jackson, he's the other one I have circled as a guy that I think is going to play a big role. Number 3 back, but if one of the top two guys, James Peoples or CJ Donaldson, gets banged up, Bo Jackson's going to be the number 2 back right away. Yeah. All right, so Quincy Porter will not redshirt. I don't think he's going to play a lot, but he won't redshirt. Nate Roberts looks good. This is the deepest tight end room I've ever seen, so I just figured he'd redshirt. He's too good. He'll at least not redshirt. I don't think Isaiah West will redshirt. He could. I have him down as he won't redshirt. I think Carter Lowe, I don't think they're going to redshirt him. I think they're going to have him and get him in there with a second team field goal unit just to get some experience for Carter Lowe as a true freshman. All right, defense. I think Jarquez Carter will play. Maybe not a huge role, but he won't redshirt. I don't think Zion Grady will redshirt. Epi, I first thought he would redshirt. Now I think Epi might play. Riley Pettijohn.
That's the one I was like, I think Epi needs to be on there the way he's been showing out.
Yeah, I've been saying Zion Grady's not going to redshirt, and I don't think he will, but I think Epi, and they have a lot of depth at D end, and probably one of those other D tackles won't redshirt either. I've already mentioned Carter will not redshirt. Probably Odom or Roy, one of those guys will probably not redshirt. Probably won't play a big role, but probably will play. I think Riley Pettijohn's going to play. He might end up playing a big role, but they have 3 linebackers that they love that you mentioned. I mean, with Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, and Peyton Pierce. So I don't think Pettijohn's going to play a lot unless those guys get banged up. TJ Alford won't redshirt. As I said, Devin Sanchez is going to play a lot. I won't be surprised if he's starting if something happens. They're not happy with what's going on at nickel, and they move Jermaine Matthews inside, for example. Boom, Devin Sanchez will be the starting corner on the outside. Regardless, he'll play a lot. Last guy I wrote down was Fahim Delane, the safety. I think he's going to play a decent amount as a true freshman. I'm sure I left some guys out. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think you hit it. I think you hit it on the head. I think you got all the guys that will potentially play this year. And you have to love that. You know what this tells me, Dave? That Ohio State's evaluation and Mark Bertoni's staff, the scouting department, their evaluations were spot on with the guys that they landed.
That's a good one. I'm sorry. Turbo Rogers will play. You're right. He looks great out there. Sorry about that. Yeah,
that's if he doesn't look like a Buick, according to Coach Locke. Did you see that? On the Ohio State video, they mic'd up Coach Locke, and he was getting on Turbo, and he told Turbo if he don't start playing faster, he gonna start calling him a Buick. He needs to live up to his nickname.
Ooh, dang a shot at Buick. My first car was a Buick Century in high school. 86 Buick Century was and I loved it. You're gonna love it because it was a car. I love my Buick Century. All right, Turbo's gonna play.
Yeah, Turbo will play. But
oh gosh,
by the way, Coach Locke is a gem, man. And
yeah,
speaking of Bo Jackson, he was given a lot of praise. You know, Bo Jackson was breaking off a couple runs, and Coach Locke was fired up for him. The one thing in that clip that really excited me is how him and Matt Patricia really embraced each other, like dapping each other up in midfield. Like, what's up, man? Like, good to see you. Hey, let's have a good day. Like, I love seeing that love from the coaches. And then once Bo Jackson broke a run, you can see Coach Locke dapping up Tony Johnson, the assistant running back coach. Like there he goes. So, I think he's definitely going to be a player here. But back to what I was saying as far as the evaluation, these young guys, they're being baptized by fire. Like, hey, you're either going to rise to the occasion at a place like Ohio State, or you're going to get trucked, because this is a team that is on a mission to try to get back to holding that gold trophy up and bringing it back to Columbus. So you either going to have to bring your A game, and it sounds like they have quite a bit of young guys who are more than holding their own, like to the point it was like, hey, this kid can really help this team this year. And I think it starts with that list that you named off, Dave. So very excited about these young freshmen here. And you can expect there's going to be quite a bit of, opportunities for that next wave of guys to get some real game reps, because, you look at that schedule, you probably have about 5 to 6 games that going into the fourth quarter, you're up double digits. It's going to be a long season. You want to be able to limit the wear and tear in the game reps for your starters if you potentially are going to make a deep run. So you're going to put some of those young guys in there to get those reps. And I think that list that you started with, that's going to be the foundation of guys who are going to be the next up and coming superstars here.
It's a very good class. Very good, very excellent 2025 class. I feel like we don't talk about it enough because we're still basking from the national championship, and it happened kind of around that time. In fact, when they signed in December, that's when the program was not in a good spot. That was before the Tennessee game, and we know what happened in the previous game. So this class is awesome, and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. As people pointed out, Jake Cook was one of the lowest rated guys in that class. He's looking good. This offensive line is deep. Jake Cook's going to be a player here for sure. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say, and before we finish up, the one thing with these younger guys is because they went through all of spring, all of this fall camp, and they're battling with guys who are considered the top of college football, the number 2 team in the country. So if you are a young guy and you're more than holding your own and you're starting to shine, that does a tremendous amount to your confidence, because you're saying, hey, I'm going to war every single day against the best competition in all of college football. So if I can hold my own and practice against these dudes, when we go against Minnesota or these other teams, that should feel like, hey, that should feel like an actual practice for these guys, because the level of competition that they're accustomed to competing against is so much higher.
Great stuff as always, my friend. I appreciate you get up so early to do this, earlier than usual. It's like you did it at like 6:30 your time. So I appreciate it, my friend. Great insights as always. He is Mr. Jonah Booker. Thank you very much, Jay Book.
Hey, early bird catches the worm, man. I'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's awesome. You guys all know that. You guys all say he's awesome. He's awesome. Jay Book is awesome. Great guy, and just is fantastic on the Bucknuts Morning 5. Good guy to go to a spring training baseball game with too, or a college football game, whatever, or an NFL game, or anything at all. Jay Book's your guy. All right, so one more ad read, then I'm going to tackle a couple more issues. Buck Rational is going to want to hear this. Are you ready for your health? Jeez, he's gonna want to hear me attempt to speak the English language. All right, Cornbread. You guys are buying a lot of Cornbread hemp products. We know this because our ad rep says your listeners are buying a lot of Cornbread hemp products. So thank you for that. Okay, are you guys ready for your healthy happy hour? I got it out that time. Cornbread's THC gummies and seltzers offer a balanced sense of happiness and relaxation. These are America's first USDA-approved organic THC edibles, and they're proudly grown in our neighboring state of Kentucky. The gummies have 10 milligrams of THC per gummy for just the right dose. Cornbread's gummies and seltzers are Farm Bill compliant and legal for adults over 21. So if you guys are looking for a healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, give Cornbread a try. They've created the first ever USDA organic THC gummy that's 100% legal. As a special offer for our Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners, you can get 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/bucknuts. Use promo code Bucknuts at checkout. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for 30% off your first order. Cheers to a healthier happy hour. All right, we have not talked about Matt Patricia on the show yet today, so we're going to change that right now as we finish the show up. Robert on Facebook, I can't wait to see Matty P coach the defense. I'm with you 100%. We'll find out. It's a good thing about sports. You can have opinions, strong opinions, and then the great thing about sports is we're going to find out if we're right or wrong. And the people that talked mess about Ohio State hiring Matt Patricia, like people in Michigan, we're going to find out if they're right or wrong. I love that. And I think we're going to be right. I think it was a grand slam home run hire by Ryan Day. People talk about, well, he wasn't a good head coach with the Detroit Lions. And I know the Lions are good now, but that they've been bad for like the previous 50 years, basically, except for 1 year they went to the NFC Championship game when they had Barry Sanders and Chris Spielman. I actually like that team because I love Chris Spielman, obviously, and I always like Barry Sanders. I like the Lions uniforms. That's like one of the I don't hate like the Detroit Tigers or anything like that. I never liked the Pistons. So I was going to say basically the only team in Michigan that I kind of liked was the Lions. They were never my favorite team. But the idea, he wasn't a good head coach with the Lions. Couple things there. Many guys were not good head coaches with the Lions, right? Second of all, Nick Saban wasn't a good head coach in the NFL. He wasn't a disaster like Patricia was. Urban Meyer was a disaster of a head coach in the NFL. Steve Spurrier was a disaster of a head coach in the NFL. What did those three guys do? Well, Nick Saban's the GOAT. Urban Meyer's the second best coach of his generation with 3 titles behind only Saban. Spurrier won a national title. Florida's first title that they ever won, and Urban won them 2. They've won 3 ever, and Urban has 2 of them. Those guys couldn't make it in the NFL. Furthermore, is Matt Patricia coming here as head coach? No. He's coming here as defensive coordinator, and he did a great job in New England. A great job. He was a big part of them winning 3 Super Bowls. So, and got to a couple other ones. So I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to move these chess pieces around. Guys like Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese is another, especially with Peyton Pierce stepping up. This allows you to maybe freelance with Arvell a little more. Arvell could be a great middle linebacker and just stay there. But with Pierce, that being his role, now you can move Arvell back around a little bit. Keep him middle linebacker where you have just 2 linebackers on the field with him and Sonny. And then you can be creative with Arvell. You can be creative with Sonny. They'll definitely be creative with Downs. I thought they did a good job last year being very creative with Downs. And Guerreri is still here. So, and I heard that might have been more Guerreri than Knowles, although I think Knowles did a good job of moving Downs around. I'm sure it was a collaborative effort. So short story long, you guys are excited about Matt Patricia. I think you've got the right vibe. I think we're going to say this guy is the real deal, and he seems like he's happy to be here. Now, if an NFL team comes and offers him $6 million to be a DC, is he going to leave? Yeah, I'm sure he would. I'm sure like Chip Kelly. Short of that, I think he's going to stay here for at least 2 years. He says his family likes it. He likes it. He loves being back doing college. He enjoys recruiting. And just when you talk with Matt Patricia, when he's doing like these press conferences, really just conversations with the media, Q&A sessions, I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth is intelligent. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Talking about the defense. And just the way he interacts with people, I don't know if he's changed or if he just got a bad rap because he's got like almost a jovial personality, an engaging personality. So I'm excited, as you guys can tell, about Matt Patricia and the Silver Bullets. All right. Thanks to J-Book. Thanks to all of you. I appreciate it very much. Hope everyone has a great day and a great weekend. Go Bucks, and make sure you are still basking.